Welcome to Moonbeam Friends, where stories help you relax and learn English. Before our magical story begins, let's play a little listening quiz. Can you guess what makes a wish come true? A magic word. B. A kind heart. A shooting star. Listen carefully. You might find the answer in tonight's story. Are you ready? Let's begin. It was a golden autumn morning in Whispering Pines, the quietest forest you could ever imagine. Leaves danced in the breeze, birds sang soft songs, and a little squirrel named Niko was digging near a tree stump, looking for shiny acorns. Niko had bright eyes and a curious heart. More than anything, he loved collecting things. Smooth pebbles, twisty sticks, and especially acorns that sparkled like treasure. That morning Niko found something strange. It wasn't an acorn. It wasn't a stone. It was a feather. But not just any feather. It shimmered in the sunlight like silver moonlight. When Niko touched it, it felt cool, like a breeze from a dream. "Wow," he whispered. "Where did you come from?" He didn't know what it meant, but something in his tiny squirrel heart told him. It was special. He tucked the feather carefully under his arm and scampered off to find the wisest creature he knew, Luna the owl. Luna lived high in the tallest pine tree, in a cozy nook surrounded by dried leaves and acorn shells. When Niko arrived, she was sipping pine needle tea and reading an old book. "Luna," he called. "Look what I found." The old owl blinked slowly. Her eyes glowed golden in the morning light. Niko held out the feather. Luna gasped softly. "Oh my," she hooted. "Niko, do you know what this is?" Niko shook his head. "This," Luna said, turning the feather gently, "is a wishing feather. Very rare. Very powerful. They come only when someone truly kind is near." Niko's ears twitched. "What does it do?" "If you hold it close to your heart and make a wish," Luna said, "but only for someone else, not for yourself, it might come true." "Only for someone else," Niko repeated. Luna nodded. "Wishing feathers don't like selfish hearts. They only respond to kindness." Niko stared at the feather again, wondering. Who needed a wish? That evening, as the forest sky turned pink and the crickets began to sing, Niko sat on his favorite stump, holding the feather close. He thought of all the animals he knew. Then he remembered Mimi the mouse. Mimi was tiny, even smaller than Niko. She lived in a hollow log at the edge of the forest. Her blanket had holes, and on cold nights she shivered. "I wish," Niko whispered, "that Mimi had the warmest, softest blanket in the whole forest." The feather glowed gently, then disappeared in a swirl of wind. The next morning, Mimi came running up to Niko with sparkling eyes. "Niko, something amazing happened. I woke up and found a new blanket at my door. It's soft like clouds and warm like the sun." "That's wonderful," Niko said, hiding a smile. He didn't say a word about the feather. That night, when he returned to his nest, another feather was waiting. The next day, Niko hurried back to Luna. "It's back," he said, holding up the new feather. Luna looked pleased. "Kindness always finds its way back to you." That night, Niko thought of Ben the badger. He used to read stories to all the young animals, but he hadn't lately. His glasses were broken, and he couldn't see the words anymore. So Niko closed his eyes and whispered, "I wish Mr. Ben could read again." The feather shimmered, then vanished into the night. The next day, Niko found Ben sitting under a tree with a book and brand new glasses. "I don't know where they came from," Ben chuckled, "but I can read again. Would you like to hear a story?" Niko listened happily, heart glowing. Days passed. Niko helped other animals quietly, with feathers that kept returning. But one night something different happened. Dark clouds rolled across the sky. The moon didn't rise. The stars were hidden. The forest grew cold and quiet. Too quiet. Niko felt a chill. Something's wrong. He looked around his nest. And there it was, a feather. But this one was different. It glowed softly, like a candle in the dark. He didn't wait. "I wish," he said, "that the forest would feel safe and warm again." The feather glowed brighter, then flew out of his paws, rising into the air like a firefly. It soared through the trees into the sky. The clouds began to part. One by one, stars peeked out. Then the moon returned, bathing the forest in silver light. Animals peeked from their homes. They smiled. They whispered. They felt peace. After that night, the forest felt different. Softer, safer. The animals began calling Niko, the kind wishmaker. But Niko always shook his head. "It wasn't me," he'd say. "Just a little magic. And maybe a little kindness." But deep in his heart, Niko knew the truth. And when the next feather appeared, he smiled and began thinking again. Who needs a little wish tonight? Did you enjoy Niko's story? Can you remember what makes a wish come true? A kind heart, a little magic, and someone who thinks of others first. If you like this bedtime adventure, don't forget to subscribe to Moonbeam Friends for more peaceful stories and listening practice. Sweet dreams, little stars.